Hi everyone, I'm Gemma Stafford, professional chef, cookbook author, and your host of Need to Know, the #1 baking entertainment podcast, where we dive into tips, trends, and tasty tidbits that bakers love most. Whether you're a long-time listener or just joining us for the first time, welcome. This week we're doing something a little bit special, a handpicked collection of our favourite moments from past episodes. These are the conversations we couldn't stop talking about, sharing, and replaying. So whether you're in the kitchen, on the go, or just here for some baking joy, this is your chance to relive the best of Need to Know or discover what makes it so beloved. So let's jump right in.
Well, Gemma, we've been talking a lot about soft serve today, and we are thrilled to be joined by Joe Nicchi, founder of CVT Soft Serve, LA's cult favorite ice cream truck, and mastermind behind soft serve to-go pouches. Joe has turned old school soft serve nostalgia into something portable, playful, and wildly viral. Perfect for wherever your cravings take you. Welcome, Joe. So my first question for you is, tell us about your personal history with soft serve. Why do you love it? Do you have any earlier formative memories?
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up in upstate New York where soft serve shacks are prevalent on the West. In the summertime, Memorial Day to Labor Day. There's actually a soft serve season up here. So it's the only time of year where you can get it. We used to go on the weekends, Sunday nights as a family, we'd go out for soft serve, but it sounds odd to people outside of upstate New York that there's a soft serve season, or even in New York, the ice cream trucks, they just only come around for a few short months in the summertime. So yeah, it was just a wonderful memory that I had growing up, and I missed it and I longed for it. And then I joke when I say I opened our business in Los Angeles out of frustration, but it's nice in LA 9 months out of the year, and there's no soft serve in LA. This was going back to 2014 when we opened, but it was yeah, it was just something that I longed for from when I was a kid.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely like you don't have to, push a ice cream truck through snow, which I imagine you'd have to do in upstate New York.
Yeah.
Joe, I was going to ask you, like, what is it for you that's like, why do you love soft serve? I think you kind of answered my question, which is, like a lot of it's nostalgia, which is the same for me. Like I talked earlier in the episode about like in Ireland, for some reason, and the more I travel in Europe, there is so much soft serve in Europe and in Ireland in particular, because being a small island, we get it all around. So for me also, it's definitely nostalgia. I'm tasting this now, and like hard ice cream doesn't taste, never mind texture, doesn't taste the same of soft serve ice cream.
Yeah.
And this reminds me of the soft serve ice cream that I grew up with in Ireland. It's absolutely delicious. But I'm wondering,
Thank you.
it's chocolate vanilla twist. So is the twist, I squirt them both into my mouth at the same time? That's the twist.
Until last week when we launched the twist.
Oh, no,
there's a twist.
I'm going to do it anyway.
So we have all new packaging. So we have still keeping that like 1950s, 1960s nostalgic look, but now we have the twist flavor as well. So I mentioned, I was talking about this a while ago, but we started as a truck business, and our packaging that you have is the truck, and people outside, we grew so quickly with these pouches, people don't know the trucks. So we wanted to kind of make it crystal clear as to what's in the pouches. And then our name is CVT Chocolate Vanilla Twist, but people are like, where's the twist? So it took me about a year and a half to figure this out, but we just launched it.
That is awesome.
That's so cool. So CVT stands for Chocolate Vanilla Twist. Do you ever consider expanding to different flavors?
So I would, we've been talking about it. Selfishly, I'm a coffee person, so I would be open to doing a coffee flavor.
Yeah.
But
Ooh.
I know a lot of people want strawberry, so I've been hearing that as well. Again, soft serve is typically chocolate and vanilla and twist, but
Sure.
I'm willing to be a people pleaser, and if people want to have a strawberry soft serve in their pocket, I'm all for it.
The nice thing about coffee is you don't have to change CVT.
Exactly. So,
That's true. Yeah.
exactly.
Only flavors that start with
CVT. Will
CVT.
always be CVT. Those are our 3 base flavors. But yeah, we'll consider expanding at some point.
Uh-huh.
I have not seen anybody do pouches. So I'm familiar with the truck because we're in Studio City. We would go up to Osteria La Buca on Ventura, and I would see your truck outside. And you don't see a lot of, there's not trucks and there's not shops, which I just thought was like so novel. But when Kevin told me that in our local market here, which you said you lived in the Valley, so you know M&M Market, which is a liquor store. And he said he saw them in the freezer. I was like blown away. I was like, that is such a smart idea.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you guys a little bit of quick background on how we got to this. If you we were doing the trucks for years, and then we started wholesaling jugs of soft serve that you'd pour into colleges or pour into machines like at colleges and restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a call for a residential install. And I was like, who's putting a $15,000 ice cream machine in their kitchen? And it was Jeff Bezos. And when Jeff put
Amazing.
CVT in his house, it was a viral news story. I had this light bulb moment of how can we get soft serve to everyone who can't afford that kind of machinery in their house, nor would you want to have it in your kitchen.
Yeah.
So I went down this crazy rabbit hole trying to figure out how to make a melt like soft serve to go.
Wow.
That is insane. And
Yeah,
did
it
you
was
end up putting it in his kitchen?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Joe, I
Mm.
would like to I would like everybody
Wow.
to actually hear the story in a nutshell about the Reddit article with Bill Murray.
Okay.
Could you tell us that?
So absolutely. We launched in March of 2014 as a street truck in LA. I was going to do this as a side hustle on the weekends. I'm a walking cliche. I was an actor and writer like everyone else in Los Angeles. And it was going okay. We're just trying to make our way. And randomly, I heard that Bill Murray was filming a movie in my neighborhood.
Mm.
So they wanted to use one of my neighbor's houses, and he agreed to do it. We found out they were doing it, and I'm like, oh my God, I love this guy. He's my idol. I want to meet Bill Murray. So I take my truck, this is June, yeah, about 3 months into business. And I put my truck near his house by set, and everyone at the production's like, what are you doing here? I said, oh, I just want to meet Bill. And they're like, well, you can't just stay here. I'm like, no, it's free ice cream for the whole crew. I just want to meet him. And like, oh, he's not coming tonight. And I didn't believe them. Like, yeah, they wanted me to leave. So I stuck around, and then sure enough, Bill shows up and he said, I heard this was for me. Super nice guy. He comes on the truck. We take photos. This is early
course
days
he
social
does.
media.
Yeah.
So we take photos. It was such a wonderful thing. We ended up handing out ice cream on set. It was just surreal that I had the opportunity to meet this guy. And that was the end of the story, so I thought. And my friend Chris called me and he's like, Joe, Bill Murray stories are really popular on Reddit. And I didn't know what Reddit was. I said, he goes, I have a Reddit account. I'll post it. So he posts a photo. You're never going to believe who came to my friend's ice cream truck last night. And this thing he called me like a stockbroker yelling, Joe, you're number 15, you're number 10. And he called me, Joe, you are the number one post on Reddit on the front page. I go, what does that mean? He goes, this is the most searched image on the internet right now.
Oh my
I said,
gosh.
get out of here instantly. Rolling Stone magazine, the Today Show, Good Morning. We were on every media outlet. It was the best free press for a new business. We had a line down the street the next day, like the movie Chef. And I tell people, like, in all seriousness, Bill Murray made our business. He put us on the map. Like, we should not have grown that quickly.
That's
So
amazing.
I would
that's-
like to argue that you did that because that was a ballsy move.
Oh, thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, there was a lot of luck involved, but also it was like, I don't know, might as well just give it a shot. I want to meet this guy.
Isn't
Good
this
for
like
you.
this is like a true Hollywood story,
is.
right?
Thank you.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. So that was we actually had 3 viral news stories. That was the first one that was just absurd. And then years later, I got tired of people, this was when influencer culture was first starting, asking for free product all the time. And I was like, I have to pay my bills. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. So as a joke, I made a sign that said influencers pay double, and I put it in my window, and this thing went international. I was on the Time Magazine, the BBC, the Irish Times. in
No
Ireland.
way. The Irish Times. That's our number one paper.
I'll have to find a link for you, but the Irish
so
Times
funny.
wrote a really nice. It was everywhere. And then the third viral story was with Bezos when he put the machine in the house. That thing went crazy too.
That's insane.
Wow. Well, these
There's
are
a lot of
truly
random
delicious.
stuff that's happened in the last 11
Yeah,
years.
but
Yeah.
well deserved.
Yeah, I mean
It's
these
an
are
awesome
amazing.
product.
This vanilla tastes like it has this like old fashioned vanilla taste to it, like
Thank
almost
you.
like it
Yeah,
has
that
like
was what we
malt
were
or
going
something,
for,
and
for
it's
sure.
so good.
Joe, tell us where to follow you and where can we get the pouches?
Sure. So we're on all the social media sites: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all at CVT Soft Serve. And then on our website, we have a locator, cvtsoftserve.com. We're in about 3,000 stores. We're also the official ice cream of Live Nation, so we're in all their amphitheaters. Yeah, it's
No
been
And
way.
do you ship nationwide if there's not a nearby store or yeah?
there's a website called Healthy Goodness. They ship on dry ice, so we ship nationwide.
So you'll be at the
Unbelievable.
Hollywood Bowl then as well, Joe? Is that where like
No, only their amphitheaters. So Live Nation puts on shows at the bowl, but not at their. The closest venues in Hollywood that we have are the Palladium, and we're about to announce the Wiltern.
Mhm.
So
wow.
Yeah.
yeah,
Amazing.
Wow.
Congratulations on all
Yeah.
your success.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
delicious.
You're my new best friend, whether you want to be or not.
thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thanks
very,
a
very
billion,
much.
Joe. Take care.
Nice talking with
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was fun.
That was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah,
What an
and
interesting
so
guy.
good. So I feel like my mind has been blown about soft serve. Now I think
Do
I'm
you know
just
what
like,
else?
yeah.
He only told us like those three, like, you know, those big viral moments. Like, I bet
Yeah.
you he has more stories. Like, that
Yeah.
dude has stories for
Yeah,
sure.
I hear his Instagram is hilarious if people want a good laugh. And today we're going to be talking with Chef Michelle Palazzo. She is the director of pastry operations for New York City's Frenchette group, which includes the award-winning restaurant Frenchette, as well as acclaimed sister establishments Le Roc and Le Veau d'Or. She's also a master of using seasonal fruits to create desserts and pastries that New Yorkers adore. Hi, Michelle. Welcome.
Hi, Michelle. Nice to
Hi.
meet you.
So, Michelle, I've read that you got hooked on baking when you were a kid. What did you love about it?
I think growing up mostly in a family that we prioritize food over everything else. So I think that's where like that fascination just with food in general really came about. And especially like after church or whatever, we would go to these like Italian bakeries and just sit for hours and kind of just talk. My grandmother grew up in a bakery, so she was always baking. So it was just kind of ingrained at a very young age to just be baking constantly. And I grew up in a very also creative family. So that as an outlet to be creative was very encouraged. And also, obviously, then we got to eat all of it, was very encouraged in my family. So that was just something that it felt very natural. And at a very young age, it seemed like that was kind of going to be the pathway towards like what I was going to do with my life. And it was very encouraged, I was lucky.
Yeah, I relate to that on so many levels. That's like, I feel
Yeah.
like we could have grown up in the same household. So, how did you turn your love of baking into a career?
Well, with being young, my mom was like, "Hey, if this is something you want to do, let's shop around. Let's go to culinary schools and like see what we wanted to do." I was definitely that kid that grew up in like the Emerald Lagasse, Julia Child. I would watch them all the time. So my parents were very encouraging of being like, "All right, we'll go to culinary school. I would like you also to go to college." So culinary school was kind of my first choice, and I knew I wanted to do it in the city. Obviously, I grew up in Long Island, so it was a quick commute. And I knew that there was just so much opportunity here for me to learn as much as possible. So I basically went to culinary school. While I did that, I also went to college and then would just kind of take any job that would have me that would work around a student. And I feel like that got me involved in some really interesting dynamics in kitchens in New York specifically. And it's those initial jobs that I had as either an intern or just even like, oh, I'll help cook or do anything with you is kind of how I got set up with my current job. So it's like all those little connections, and it kind of evolved into this like full blown career at this point, which I feel very, lucky to kind of have gotten.
Absolutely.
Michelle, there's one thing I noticed because I follow you on Instagram. Your desserts are so creative and the flavor combinations are so unique and like just when like it's not something I think of. Like I look at some of your like signature desserts. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Paris Brest, pistachio Paris Brest, like cherry souffle. What from what I have two questions because when I'm going to ask you what people always ask me. I'm going to ask you first, like what from what you make today, what is your favorite creation? But then also after that, people always ask me, what do you love to eat? Like, what's your favorite dessert? And they're so mine is such a different answer. So I'm wondering, is yours the same?
It's funny. I love making dessert. I don't like eating dessert anymore. Like my go-to for things for that I'm gonna have a sweet is just like either a chocolate chip cookie or even just like straight up candy. But
Yeah.
I love making and being creative with sweet components. And, what what I love to make is French influence based pastries. So when it comes to like either a souffle, we change those very seasonally. But our Paris Brest is kind of what started it all. That was kind of the first signature dessert I've ever had. And it was a lot of, traditionally that dessert is made with either like hazelnut or, in caramel. And we really wanted to kind of showcase something a little bit different. And we got this batch of like pistachio paste that was super vibrant, and like Sicilian pistachio paste it was just so beautiful. We're like, are we going to make a really expensive, delicious cream filled choux pastry? I'm like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And it kind of totally took off. And it was just one of those desserts that we weren't really expecting to be such a signature, but now it's something that like people are like, oh, the Paris Brest.
Yeah.
People just go to the restaurant and sit there and just have that, which I'm very impressed with.
That's, there's one thing I miss about working in restaurants is having access to like things like that, like a tub of like, a pistachio paste to like put in ice cream or in creme patisserie or something. So delicious, so decadent, like so special. I think that's why, like, I get that. People going on a mission to your restaurant to have just that. That's really sweet. Tell me this, when we first spoke, we were talking about like the seasons. How does that guide your recipe, your menu choices? Because we know some seasons are very bountiful and then others not so much. When do you start to go like heavy on chocolate when maybe the farmer's market is looking a bit sparse, like what's your plan there?
Yeah. So I feel really lucky that in the last couple of years, I've worked in restaurants that have really had a hyper focus on seasonality and have these strong relationships with our farmers. And I've always wanted to kind of keep the menus as creative from savory on to pastry. So obviously during the winter months, we're either doing a lot of like preserves that I cultivated from the summertime. What we're kind of focusing maybe on a little bit more like citrus items, things that like I can get or tropical fruit season, you're able to find a little bit more in the winter. And then as we gear up towards the spring, I'm going to use a little bit more herbs, or, we wait for rhubarb. That's like the first something pink and pretty that I can like utilize. And, I try to get that from Washington. And then I get a little peek on the West Coast of all these like beautiful strawberries that we get from, the Santa Monica Farmers Market. And, I'm like itching at this point, but right now is in this time of year is when like New York starts to really see all the beautiful stuff that we're able to get. Like I'm just getting Marie Dubois strawberries and, TriStar strawberries, and I can start seeing that little hint of summertime. So our restaurants really always, and me personally, have always tried to get the best ingredients that were the freshest ingredients. And my menu will always change based off of what is seasonality. It's really important. I will not use strawberries in the middle of the winter, or I won't use, stone fruit in the winter. It's just not something that I'd rather be creative during that point and use other ingredients to kind of showcase the winter time and allow the summer or the spring or even like the late fall to really like shine of like what is in season at that point.
We've got some questions for any one of us to answer.
I wanted to ask this first question because I'm very curious about your answer, Michelle. What are some unexpected seasonal vegetables to work with that bake well?
Ooh, that bake well.
In sweet baking.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not a vegetable technically, but I love doing savory sweet combinations. Especially, I love doing like peach and tomato. I know that's, and then sometimes I'll add a lot of like pheno herbs or any like basil.
Another question, Michelle, how do you adjust baking times with the different moisture levels of like juicy fruit? Because I know that can be a little bit tricky, especially if you're putting it in a cake. Like if it's a crumble, it's not that bad because you just end up with extra juice. But also pies, some fruit work really well in pies, and some of them you'll have to kind of like soak and strain a little bit. What's your thought there?
I mean, I am a big fan of marinating or macerating and then cooking out some of the liquid, straining that. Obviously, sometimes we'll adjust our starches. So we'll either add cornstarch or a little bit of flour. And that will also change our overall baking time. I'm a big fan of like, if it's bubbling, that means that cornstarch or whatever is working its magic, and that means it's kind of getting to the point where it's ready to go.
Yeah.
So, maybe it's a matter of just like cooking out some of that liquid or straining some of that liquid out first and then incorporating it as you would do a normal pie.
Yeah, I think it's really good advice. Cooking it first, because sometimes you just don't know. And then I will say that seasonal fruit, still talking about seasonal fruit, but sometimes people would have gone to the farmer's market, gotten some peaches in season, but then frozen them. We had an experience recently where like after the fact, the fruit got really juicy. So I think if you're going to, just from our experience, using fruit in pie, maybe defrost it first in a pie.
Mm-hmm.
In crumbles, I just put it straight in there frozen.
Yeah, but definitely
We love a crumble.
I know, right? I was just saying, I really do.
Well,
that's my thing. When I was asking, what's your favorite thing? I'm a huge fan of a crumble with vanilla ice cream, like just regular vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, and the nice thing about a crumble is you can use really minimal thickener because thickeners are nice, but they can mute the flavors a little bit.
Yeah,
and you don't have to worry if you're doing a pandowdy, a crumble, a cobbler, anything that doesn't have a bottom crust.
Yeah.
You still need a little thickener, but you can really get away with using a lot less.
Yeah,
so you've got a juiciness, but definitely it is a really easy step to just macerate your peaches, your stone fruit, your berries. Half an hour, doesn't really need to macerate all that long while you're rolling out your pie crust. And then you strain out that juice, you cook it down until it's really thick and syrupy, and then you pour.
We had a thing here the other day with a pie, so she's making her point to me.
I feel validated because Michelle is on my side.
I know, yeah.
Michelle, it's been so nice to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time. I learned a lot.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was nice meeting you guys.
You're next on my list when I go to New York, Michelle. I can't wait to go in and visit you and sample some of your creations.
All right, wonderful. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thanks so much, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle.
Enjoy the day.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm going to say goodbye for today. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen and watch your podcasts, and we'll see you back here again really soon. From HRN and the Bold Baking Network, you are watching the Need to Know Baking Entertainment Podcast.